Close your eyes for just a second. Imagine you're standing on a dusty, sun-baked American roadside in 1933. The air is thick with the smell of hot asphalt, horse manure, and the heavy black smoke of the Great Depression era. The trucks passing by are nothing more than loud, clunky iron boxes bolted onto wooden frames, vibrating so violently they look like they might shake themselves to pieces. But then, suddenly, cutting through the haze, emerges something that doesn't look like a vehicle at all. It looks like a spaceship from another planet, or a gleaming silver bullet fired from the future. It's smooth, it's aerodynamic, and it moves with a silent, haunting grace that makes you doubt your own eyes. This wasn't a dream, and it wasn't a movie prop. This was the Diamond T Texaco Doodlebug. It was a machine that had already arrived in the future, while the rest of the world was still struggling to figure out the past. Welcome to Carland. Today, we're uncovering the story of this mechanical ghost, a vehicle that history almost erased, but without which the very concept of modern automotive design might never have existed. To understand the Doodlebug, we first have to understand the world it was born into. In the early 1930s, America was a place of soot and grime. Most homes were still heated with coal, a fuel that left a legacy of filth on everything it touched. Texaco, known then as the Texas Company, wanted to change the public's perception of energy. They wanted people to switch to heating oil and high-grade motor fuel. But how do you sell clean energy using dirty, old-fashioned delivery trucks? You don't. You invent a symbol. Howard W. Kaiser, the superintendent of automotive equipment for Texaco, knew they needed a revolution on wheels. He wanted a vehicle that didn't just deliver fuel, but delivered a message that the future was here and it was beautiful. That's when the legendary industrial designer Norman Bell Geddes stepped onto the stage. Geddes was a man obsessed with the Streamlined modern movement. He believed that everything, from pencil sharpeners to ocean liners, should be shaped by the wind. Along with fellow designers Walter Dorwin Teague and the engineers at Diamond T, they set out to build a masterpiece that would break every rule in the automotive handbook. What emerged from their collaboration was a total shock to the American public. The Doodlebug had no traditional hood, no protruding fenders, and no jagged running boards to catch the wind. It was a fully integrated steel capsule that felt like it was floating over the asphalt rather than rolling on it. Standing only 5 feet 11 inches tall, it was incredibly low for a tanker truck of that era, presenting a sleek, pill-shaped silhouette that made every other vehicle on the road look like an antique. But as breathtaking as the exterior was, the real genius and the real technical madness was hidden deep underneath that silver skin. Let's dive into the engineering, because this is where the Doodlebug truly separates itself from anything else built in the 20th century. In 1933, the idea of a rear-engine vehicle was practically unheard of in the United States. Yet, the Doodlebug's heart sat at the very back of the chassis, tucked away behind the massive fuel tank. This was a 501 cubic inch Hercules L-head inline 6-cylinder engine, an 8.2-liter beast designed for torque and reliability. But moving the engine to the rear created a problem that almost ended the project before it started. Because the engine was so far behind the driver, the cab was eerily quiet. In 1933, truck drivers didn't have fancy digital dashboards or electronic sensors. They relied entirely on the feel and the roar of the engine to know when to shift gears. Without the sound of those 6 cylinders humming in his ears, the driver had no idea when the engine was reaching its peak RPM. To solve this, the engineers did something that sounds like pure science fiction for the era. They installed a high-sensitivity microphone in the rear engine compartment and connected it to a speaker inside the driver's cab. Think about the sheer audacity of that for a moment. The driver was literally listening to a live broadcast of his own engine through a speaker just so he could judge his gear changes. This wasn't just a truck, it was an experimental laboratory on wheels. It featured air-actuated clutch and gearbox mechanisms, meaning the driver used pneumatic pressure to shift heavy gears under load, a technology that wouldn't become standard in the industry for decades. The Doodlebug wasn't just ahead of its time, it was speaking a language the rest of the industry wouldn't learn for another 50 years. The tank itself was a marvel of structural integrity. Unlike modern tankers, where the tank is a separate unit sitting on a frame, the Doodlebug's body was an integrated monocoque-style design. It held 1,500 gallons, over 5,600 liters, which was a massive supply for the period. To prevent the liquid from surging and flipping the truck during corners or sudden stops, the interior of the tank was fitted with a complex system of baffles. This kept the weight balanced and the ride smooth, allowing this silver pill to cruise at speeds that left traditional trucks in the dust. But for all its brilliance, the question remains, if this machine was the blueprint for the future, where is it now? Why don't we see these Doodlebugs in museums or at classic car shows? The answer is as tragic as it is simple. History got in the way. As the 1930s drew to a close, the world began to move toward the darkness of World War II. The specialized steel and the high-level engineering talent required to build these silver bullets were suddenly diverted to the war effort. The focus shifted from luxury and design to tanks, fighter planes, and raw military utility. Texaco's marketing strategies changed as well. The promotional tours ended, and the Doodlebugs were put to work as ordinary service vehicles. Because they were so unique and built with such specialized parts, they were incredibly difficult and expensive to maintain once the original production run stopped. One by one, they reached the end of their service lives. Many likely were sold for scrap during the metal drives of the war years, melted down to become shells or armor plating. Today, not a single original 1933 Texaco Doodlebug is known to survive. It remains a mechanical ghost, a phantom of an era where anything seemed possible. The legacy of the Doodlebug, however, is etched into the DNA of every modern vehicle we see today. That wraparound, compound, curved glass windshield, it didn't become a standard feature in production cars until the mid-1950s. The focus on reducing wind resistance to save fuel, that's the entire basis of modern electric vehicle design. Whether it was the obsessive vision of J. Roy Hunt and his house car, or the corporate ambition of Texaco and the Doodlebug, these stories prove that the greatest leaps in technology often happen when we stop looking at what is possible and start building what we imagine. So I have to ask you, the Carland family, if you were walking through an old, forgotten barn in the middle of the American Midwest and you saw that distinctive silver pill-shaped nose peeking out from under a dusty tarp, what would you do? Would you spend years of your life and a fortune in cash to restore it to its original 1933 glory, exactly as Norman Bell Geddes intended? Or would you recognize its potential as a futuristic platform, drop in a dual-motor Tesla powertrain, and turn it into the ultimate electric vintage masterpiece? The Doodlebug was built to redefine expectations, and maybe that's exactly what it's still doing nearly a century later. Its physical form might be gone, but its spirit is in every rebel mechanic and visionary designer who refuses to follow the crowd. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into one of the most incredible what-ifs in automotive history. If you enjoyed this journey back to 1933, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have many more stories of the machines that time forgot and the legends that refused to die. Keep your eyes on the horizon, because the next story is already moving towards us. I'll see you in the next one.